video on potato soup. So I need to faff around with some potatoes for something else. I need to know how much potato will thicken a certain amount of water to get like a super consistency. So I was kind of thinking I need to find out. So we actually just might as well make some potato soup. So we have 500 grams of peeled potatoes. They are, oh, I couldn't tell you what variety they are, but they're not something that's very waxy, and they're actually a chipping potato. They might be in a steamer or something like that. So there's 500 grams worth of peeled potatoes, and there is about 300 grams worth of onions. I've chopped up, well, the leftover potatoes from something else, so they're chopped up that size. If we cut them smaller, they would cook quicker and take less time to cook. But I can't remember chopping them up. It's certainly going to need 2 stock cubes. So it might even need 3. So we'll put 2 chicken stock cubes in. You can put vegetable stock. You can use vegetable stock cubes, but my only thing with a vegetable stock cube is whatever soup you're making, it then tastes of vegetable stock cube rather than the actual dish you're making. So I made a mushroom soup, and I couldn't. There wasn't any chicken stock cubes. I couldn't buy any, so I had to use vegetable stock cubes, and it just ended up tasting of vegetables rather than mushrooms. So if you're not a vegetarian or a vegan, I find that chicken stock cubes give you the best flavour. So certainly going to need 2 stock cubes. It might need 3, and that's where the majority of the flavour is going to kind of come from in this soup. And we've got chives in the garden, so we might put some chives in as well. So it might be potato and chive soup. So what did I say? I said 500 grams worth of, probably the third time I've said this now, 500 grams worth of peeled, chopped potatoes, 300 grams worth of onions, 2 stock cubes, potentially another one, and then we'll put some milk in, probably about 200 milliliters, something like that, tomorrow. When we oh yeah, so I'm not actually making the soup for today, but I'm going to this, I don't know why I'm telling you, why I'm going to say this, but so I'm going to yoga tomorrow morning, and you're not really supposed to have anything to eat before you go to yoga, because you're stretching and bending over, and it's exercise, and you really shouldn't eat before you start doing things like yoga. So you need an empty stomach. Could say something else, but I won't. So it makes you, and bending over gets you a bit gassy, and like yoga farts and all that kind of stuff. It's a real thing. The struggle is real. So, by the time we get home from yoga, I'm generally starving. I'm really hungry, and the thought and having to kind of cook potatoes and onions tomorrow when I get in from yoga, I'd just be like, I just need something to eat there and then. So I'm going to cook these tonight. And then it'll be fine left over cold, and then all I have to really do is reheat it and then puree it with some milk and maybe another chicken stock cube. So I'm actually cooking it tonight while I'm doing some other jobs in the kitchen. Completely useless bit of information, that, but you can cook things, vegetables the day before, and then reheat quickly on the day and puree down to kind of finish off the soup. But anyway, that's kind of quite interesting. But me going to yoga is not very interesting. Interesting for me, not interesting for you. So cook these, take about 10-15 minutes depending on how rapidly we boil them. Don't want to rapidly boil them too much, otherwise we'll lose liquid off them. We'll just steam it all away, which is not kind of really what we want to kind of do. And then we'll let it go cold, and then we'll puree it. So yeah, so I once heard someone talking about making soups, and they were talking about a carrot soup, and they said you don't want to cook the carrots too much, because you kind of lose the kind of flavour from the carrots. I think that's a load of rubbish, because I want your soups really the vegetables in the soup need to be soft enough that you'll be able to puree them, and a pureed soup tastes different to a chunky soup. And if you want the flavour of a pureed soup, you have to really puree those, cook those vegetables down soft enough so they can be pureed. So there we go. So cook these, and then the next bit of the video tomorrow will be me adding milk and other stuff. Far too long already. What are we at? 4 minutes already. It should have been like a quick 2 minutes. Well, let's make a quick soup. But no, I had to waffle, didn't I? Right. I'm home from yoga. I've heated it up a little bit, so it's not cold. And then certainly going to put in 150 millilitres of milk, and then we'll measure what kind of yield we get. I'm going to put some chives in, but we'll put the chives in after we've pureed the soup. Because I don't want a green soup, I want a white soup with green flakes in it. So we'll be handling the mix. Oh, it won't stretch, will it? No. I've got a closer one. Is that closer? No, because that means something lighter. No, I'll do that. No. We'll just do it on a bit of an angle, and you'll see my dirty cooker, which I was trying to avoid. Not to worry. Oh, turn the gas off. So that's smooth-ish. Let's give it a taste. That certainly needs another stock cube in. We could just put salt and pepper in, but it's going to have more flavour putting a chicken stock cube in. And then I think we're going to go for another 50 millilitres of milk, and then we'll probably have to put in a little bit of water as well. So another 50 millilitres of milk, and then I should have had some more to boil, shouldn't I? What's that? That's about 200 millilitres in that glass, so pure this. So that's a better consistency, but I reckon another 100 mils of water. Yeah, that's about 100 mils. Quick taste. That's lovely. A little bit of salt. A little bit of free running salt. About the right consistency. Be careful with plastic things. Don't bang them on metal pans. Bang them on your hand. And then, how much is this? That's what I'll do. So, how much chives? So that's about half, isn't it? So, set the counter to 0. So that's about 4 grams, so about 10 grams worth of chives. And then we'll give it we'll measure how much we've got in there. So I've got another pan. Weighs the same, being a bit noisy. I have to do it off camera because this chopping board's not on the card, not stable. So another pan. So I've tailed that off, and then put this pan on and tell me how many millilitres we've got. So that's 1.5 litres. So therefore, that's a really cheap soup. So there we go. Potato soup, because I needed to work out how much potato to put in the soup to thicken it. But anyway, and you get to find out how to make cheap and delicious potato soup from not that many ingredients. So there we go, a success. I'm going to enjoy that for my lunch.